Your organisation runs training courses for your staff and customers. Only problem is it's time-consuming, inconvenient and costly. Take a leaf out of our book. The School of Hard Knock Knocks uses the online training platform by YZ, and our team and customers love it. It's simple to use, supports every media format, audio, video, text, and looks great on desktops, tablets and mobiles. And for a limited time, quote SHKK when you arrange a demo and get 10% off your first year's plan. YZ helps us deliver comedy courses around the world. Imagine what it could do for your organisation. YZ, that's WYZED.com. YZ, online learning made simple. You're listening to the School of Hard Knock Knocks podcast with me, Maury Morgan.
Ladies and gentlemen, your next comedian.
Shouldn't drink on an empty head, you know that, don't you?
That is the shittiest heckle I have ever heard in my life.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
That's a bucket list.
You have dangerously underprepared yourself for the shit that is about to get real.
Adelaide comedian Marc Ryan is a self-diagnosed bogan. He's also a state winner and national finalist of Raw Comedy, and through his success has been able to go full-time, although not without some serious thought. In this School of Hard Knock Knocks podcast, we discuss Raw, building a comedy career, supportive wives and the Adelaide Fringe Festival. We also talk about the upcoming School of Hard Knock Knocks stand-up comedy course in Adelaide from December 9 to 13. Comedians Glenn Nicholas and Marc Ryan will be developing Adelaide's next batch of comedians, alongside returning alumnus Steve Davis. If you would like to compete at Raw Comedy or even perform in the Best of School of Hard Knock Knocks Adelaide Fringe show, then this is the course for you. Spots are filling up quickly, so be quick. And now, here's the beautiful bogan, Mr. Marc Ryan.
Poster. And I just, see, you thought I should be on the Crime Stoppers poster as well. Judgmental people. You shouldn't judge people, right? Because I reckon if Jesus was alive today, we'd profile him as a bogan. Stay with me, right? Jesus the bogan. I've done my research. He had a mullet. He wore thongs. He went fishing all the time. And the kicker, he turned water into wine at a party, ladies and gentlemen. If there is a magic trick / superpower that a bogan could have, it would be turning a box water into goon, wouldn't it? That would be, oh, Jono's magic, yeah. Well, the Bible also says that Jesus is going to come back one day. He's going to come back to earth. I just hope it's not anytime soon when Tony Abbott's in power, because I've worked it out. Again, I've done the research. He's Middle Eastern. Probably come back on a fishing boat. Wouldn't have a visa. Straight to Christmas Island! Which would just be ironic.
Good afternoon, Marc. How are you?
Yeah, good, Maury. How are you going?
Oh, good, mate. Well, actually, it's just clocked into 6 o'clock, so it is evening now. Although, no, it is afternoon where you are, because you're in Adelaide.
I am in Adelaide. It's 28 degrees and perfect weather today.
Yes. And 5:39 instead of 6:09, where I'm calling from. I can just tell you the future is grand. Anyway, can't help myself.
Nice.
Well, thanks, Marc, very much for this chat. This chat is actually for two purposes. One, for me to know a little bit more about you, as well as the audience knowing more about you, because I have invited you upon recommendation to be our guest comedian for our December 9 to 13 stand-up comedy course in Adelaide.
Yes, and I was very privileged that you asked me. I was very excited, actually. And who recommended me? Because I think I owe the guy a beer.
Well, you haven't done the course yet. You might regret it. I believe it was Ross Vatikis.
Ross Vatikis is a great guy, a great Adelaide comedian, yes. Oh, no, I owe that guy a beer. I've actually got a gig with him tonight, so I'll buy him a beer.
Oh,
that's good.
There you go. And that's at Cranker Comedy, I believe, in Adelaide?
Yeah, Cranker Comedy. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, fantastic. I've been to Cranker. It's a great room. I haven't seen yourself, but I've seen Jerry Massey playing himself, and I've also seen Jerry Massey playing Mad Dog Malcolm there as well. So. Oh,
what another amazing Adelaide comedian. Yeah. Jerry Massey. I love that guy.
Yes, and I think as either Jerry Massey or Mad Dog Malcolm say, Adelaide comedians, well, he's got a joke about being in protective
witness protection.
Witness protection, that's right. And
Yeah.
being a stand-up comedian in Adelaide is the best place to go completely invisible, isn't it? He says it better than I do.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're not talking about Jerry or Mad Dog. We're talking about the Beautiful Bogan. Now, I came across the Beautiful Bogan. It's great marketing. Where does this brand come from? Or was it just from your last Fringe show?
So originally I did my debut Fringe show in 2014, maybe. There's been a few, but maybe 2014, around there. I had a show called The Beautiful Bogan. Marc Ryan is The Beautiful Bogan. But then there seemed to be a mix-up with another comedian who I do quite enjoy the company of as well, Marcus Ryan, who's a Melbourne-based comedian.
I saw him on Sunday. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, so there was a bit of a mix-up with different stuff, tickets and all kinds of different things. So then I decided, well, hang on a sec, like, he's good, I'm good. Maybe if I just label myself The Beautiful Bogan, that could separate us. So that's how it sort of happened.
Well, I saw him on Sunday, 2 days ago, actually, at St Kilda Comedy Club at Big Mouth in St Kilda, and he said he just came back from Mexico. So did you put the word out? Did you threaten him?
No. It's actually really funny because he's been in the middle of the Melbourne Comedy Festival. People have come up to him and said, "Oh, happy birthday." And he's like, "No, that's the other Marc Ryan." And then I've had messages from, newspapers before, "Hey, can we do an interview with you doing this show?" And I'm like, no, I'm actually in Adelaide, not in Sydney. So I think you're looking out for Marcus Ryan.
Yep.
So that's why I kind of just went, you know what, if I separate myself by just saying I'm the Beautiful Bogan, because I am a Bogan at heart. But I do, my whole shtick is trying to change the perception of Bogans as well, because I've had enough of Bogans getting a bad rap. And
true,
because originally, I think the original Bogan was Daryl Kerrigan from The Castle, right? That's with Ted Bullpit, and that was just a good Aussie larrikin, not
right, salt of the earth type of character.
Yeah, salt of the earth bloke. That's to me, that's what it is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I'm trying to bring that back and make people feel comfortable about labelling themselves as a Bogan without people going, "Oh, you must be a drongo," or all the stuff that goes along with that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my mission in stand-up comedy, I guess.
Beautiful. Well, Chris Franklin, of course, another comedian. Not that you'd get mixed up with him in name, but in Bogan titling. He's probably one of the first Aussie comedians who used the Bogan, and to this day uses the Bogan brand. He's one of the salt of the earth. He's one of the nicest people I've ever met, and he gets quite aggro when people use his image to talk about racism or highlight something negative, because he's not like that at all. Of course, he's I love
working with Chris. I've worked with Chris numerous times, and we've got the same. Yeah, it's the same kind of thing. Like we both hate racism. We both just because we either look or we sound the way we do, or we live in a certain area that we live in, doesn't actually mean that you're a racist or and that's something we both share, because he's actually Aboriginal as well, if you know that.
Yes.
So, and my wife's Aboriginal, so we've got a connection there where.
Yeah. I'm laughing because I remember his joke where he finds out. I think he was in the car when he finds out, and he gets pulled over like 10 minutes later, and he's makes a joke about how he's already a victim. He's only been an Aboriginal for 10 minutes, and he's already been. Oh,
I love that joke.
It's a classic. And it's true, which is most important. Very important. Well, there you go. Well, excellent. So 2014, but you did start comedy, I believe, a little bit earlier, about 2011. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. So I started comedy out of, I guess, I was in a bad state mentally. I guess I was depressed and maybe on the edge of doing something that wasn't great. And so I went and saw a counsellor, and the counsellor said to me, "Oh, when was the last time you felt happy? When was the last time you felt good in life?" And I said, "Oh, I did a best man speech at my friend's wedding, and everyone laughed." And then the counsellor laughed at me and went, "Well, don't try stand-up comedy." But it kind of planted a seed.
Yeah. Dare accept
why not? Like, what? Yeah, that's right, exactly. Well, that's what I'm about. I was like, I've always kind of wanted to do it. And it just sort of set a seed in my heart where I was like, you know what? you only live once, give it a crack. And I went to a couple of open. Actually, the first person that ever gave me an open mic spot was Ross Voss.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and I think at the time I was about 125 kilos and had a shaved head and a goatee. I do believe the lineup was full, but he wasn't going to say no to me.
He couldn't. I was about to say, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think he was like,
I will be on tonight, Ross.
Well, no, because I'm like a big pussycat, so I've got no idea, but I knew my physical presence was a bit big.
Yeah.
And I'm 6'2", so I was like, I'm a big lad.
Yeah.
But yeah, he gave me my first spot. And then from there, I did a couple of other open mics, and then someone came up to me and said, you've actually got something. You've got a thing. And I was like, what do you think? And then, here we are a few years later.
There you go. But a few years later, and in those few years, I believe you won Raw Comedy South Australia for the state. Is that right? 2014.
Yeah.
So you didn't just have something; you had
comedy,
you had comedy.
Yeah, that's right. And Raw Comedy is a great experience. But it's the other side of it is people wrap so much up in it. I think it's be all and end all, and it's actually not. That's one piece of advice. I try and send out a text message to all the Raw finalists, I think, the night before the state final, and just say, hey, have fun, enjoy it. Because, I was one that took it. And it is serious. It's a serious competition.
Sure.
But, there's a lot of comics that, never won Raw or didn't even get close to winning Raw that have gone on to have amazing careers.
No, true.
So it's actually, it's a good stepping stone, but,
Yeah. Look, it's one of the many paths, isn't it, in comedy these days to get you somewhere. I mean, going back to Chris Franklin, the guy, what did he do? He won Raw 1998, I think it was, and then 2 years later he comes out with an ARIA award-winning song, the Bogans song. He's quite annoying for comedians because he goes, oh, this is how you do it. You just become successful in 2 years, but it's not like that at all. There are many methods, and these days, as you do touring and video work and getting jobs on ABC Comedy and all these different ways of developing your career.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Now, but you did actually, although you didn't win the national final that year in Melbourne, when you went over to Melbourne, the Herald Sun did say you had the night's best joke. Yeah. Do you remember what that was?
Yeah, it was one of my favourites. So at the time, the context of it is that Tony Abbott was in power, and the joke is about Jesus. Like we shouldn't judge bogans because Jesus would be a bogan, and imagine if Jesus, returned to Earth. Jesus being a bogan, if he returned to Earth, he's Middle Eastern. The Bible says that Jesus was Middle Eastern, so he'd probably come back on a fishing boat. He wouldn't have a visa, and he'd get sent straight to Christmas Island, which would just be ironic.
Right.
If Jesus was sent to Christmas Island. So that was... Yeah. And that was an amazing moment, because that was kind of when you hear that many people laugh at something, you're like, oh, wow. But then I found out later on that actually every time that, as Prime Minister, his name gets mentioned, that's recorded down.
Oh.
Especially on the ABC.
By ASIO or someone?
Yeah, by someone, like by people that, every time his name gets mentioned or something, they report back to him what was said or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I kind of had a laugh. I was like, well, at least Tony Abbott knows where I stand about that.
Yes.
He heard my joke. I don't know. Maybe one of his advisors did, but that was a good moment.
Yeah, fantastic. Oh, that's good. That's good. Now, you gave up your day job back in 2016. I believe that's...
Yes.
Yeah. And what was the day job at the time?
I was working for Coles at a big factory, factory warehouse.
Yep.
Driving a forklift.
Yep.
And it was depressing. Oh, my Lord. Just a whole lot of things happened, and I ended up... My wife gave me the option and said, hey, listen, do you want to try this thing full time?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. Oh, so many years ago, someone said, do you want to give it a crack doing it at all? And I was like, well, yeah, why not? So, so here we are.
Fantastic. You have a great wife.
Yeah, she's very supportive.
Wow. A wife that says, do you want to stay up late and drink beer with your friends and make jokes?
Yeah, that's right.
I'll work extra hard.
She's a great wife, but she's got great expectations. One of them being the kids get to school every single day on
that's
time.
right.
So
regardless of your hangover.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And the only time that's ever a real issue is Adelaide Fringe.
Yep.
And that's when it's usually just McDonald's for breakfast every morning.
Every morning, there you go.
Go on
Drive through.
breakfast. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
What do you want?
So it sounds to me like you had great support, in this case, your wife, who kind of. Now, I'm just wondering what the conversation, where did it initiate? Because you basically came to the realization, whether you were told or asked, that you wanted to go full-time comedian. And that's a big jump for a lot of people that listen to this podcast. They may be they may be just getting into comedy, or they might be someone who's 3, 4, 5 years in, and they've got that day job that they don't like so much, or they'd prefer not to do. How did you know it was time to pack it in? And then commit?
I guess that was a hard one. Like everything sort of just it was terrifying. Like it was terrifying because I was, essentially, my job was paying $25 an hour or thereabouts, and it was a steady income. But it was just everything sort of fell into place with my wife's job, and it was tough, man. Like we've had days where we've had 34 cents in the bank for 4 days. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not. I mean, I'm not entitled to Centrelink, so I've got 3 boys as well. So it's tough. Like, and it has its moments where you're like, just like a steady income.
Yep.
But I guess the whole thing around it was we just had a feeling that what this could probably work without saying like a douche. I'm good enough to do it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It was kind of like, well, if I don't take a chance now, will I ever take the chance? And a couple of other things came up around that time. I toured New Zealand about 6 months after that with an American comic as his support act, and that was fruitful. So and then things have only really started to open up the last probably 3 months, where I've actually made a wage. As a stand-up comedian, because before that it was tough work.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's incredible. So big jump, and then you're doing it with the handicap of living in Adelaide, which of course is a smaller city than Melbourne and Sydney. 1 point something million or something, is it? What's the Adelaide?
1.7 million.
1.7.
I mean, people will joke about it, but it's hard work to grind out a living doing stand-up. In Adelaide, because the corporates have got the people that they go to every time. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
It's a struggle to get a corporate gig, but at the same time, it just makes you hungrier as well. Right? That's when you work out. Yep. If you're hungry enough, because it's that desire to. Sometimes you get everything given to you on a platter, you're not hungry.
Sure.
So you're just like whatever, but. When you got mouths to feed, you work out a way to hustle. Yeah. So I have a saying that I like: constraint is the mother of invention. Not necessity, but but the constraint of not being in a city of 4.4 million people like Melbourne, for example. Then you've got to work extra hard, look for other jobs, and look, it all makes sense. You've frightened off a lot of people listening to this podcast, mind you, Mark. It's hey, look, the ones that, but it also drives you as well. You know what I mean? Like, there's also that challenge of going off track for a little bit. Like, I'm never afraid of a challenge. I've lost 40 kilos in the last 10 months.
Right.
So
through stress. No.
Yeah, that's right. No, just being a full-time comedian in Adelaide, I haven't eaten.
You're right. That's it. Yeah.
No, just through exercise. But I challenged myself to lose some weight and get healthier. Up until tearing my calf, I was running, 40 k's a week because that's something I've never done before. But I challenged myself. So, it just makes you hungry if to go after something.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic. So I don't know if I've used the right photo in the marketing for the December course then. I hope that's the thinner version of you.
Yeah, that is.
Perfect. Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go back to raw comedy a little bit because you did well in Adelaide and raw comedy's coming up. And a lot of people who are listening to this podcast may have actually put their applications in, because if you don't know, people, applications are being accepted right now, so don't miss out on trying out for Raw. And so you did well in Raw. What advice would you give to those people from all over Australia, not just Adelaide, but advice going into Raw comedy?
Enjoy the experience. You know what I mean? Learn from it. They're always lovely crowds. There's always people there to support you. You've always got a home ground advantage. You know what I mean? Like, it's always, either your friends or family or other friends and family. They know what they're going into to watch that. They know they're not going to watch professional stand-up comedians. You know what I mean? They know they're not going to watch an A-lister. They're going into people who are raw. So enjoy that. Enjoy the rawness of it. Enjoy being on stage. Like, soak it up. Like, just enjoy the experience. Because at the end of the day, if you enjoy it, you got to enjoy this stuff. It's fun.
Yeah, I know a lot of people. We have a lot of alumni. Over 120 people have done our School of Hard Knock Knocks, and I think this year we had about 17 people apply, and one got into the final.
Yeah, nice.
But you could see some, and I would say some of the funniest people didn't even get past the heats. And that possibly was because their content isn't necessarily ABC friendly. It's not PG rated. I don't know if that's a thing or not, but to me, it just felt like, being funny being a little bit more politically correct and softer will get you through at least to the semis. I don't know if that's...
I think it's a thing. I think they're looking for stuff that's, like you said, probably TV friendly.
Yeah.
I think that plays a big part in it. But mind you, in my year, there was some acts that weren't particularly TV friendly at all, and it was a bit, bit dirty humour. And I was like,
right.
But I mean, I was in Katie Birch's year, and you would have seen Katie Birch before.
Katie Birch.
That was my year.
Yeah. She's saw her on Sunday with your namesake, Marcus Ryan. He was on the same bill there as well. In fact, she just confirmed this morning that she's going to be our guest comedian for March in Melbourne at the School of Hard Knock Knocks. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my year, but it's you got to just enjoy the moment. You know what I mean? Enjoy being on stage and don't take it too serious. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
Like at some stages, yes, it's a serious business. You know what I mean? But at the start, it's not. Like, I see dudes cut themselves up after open mic stuff, and it's hard not to sometimes. If you bomb, you bomb. It hurts. But it's all right. There's another gig.
Yep.
You'll find someone else to do a spot. Like,
you will. Yeah. And that's right. And to be honest, I think if you do an open mic, from what I witnessed as a punter at open mics, not as an open micer, no one's actually, if you bomb, no one really cares because they're more interested in their own set that's coming up, and how they did. So it's the best place to bomb because you're actually kind of invisible, which is
exactly right.
Well, going back to Adelaide, you've done Adelaide Fringe shows. Now, did you say 2014 was your first Fringe?
I reckon, I can't, what are we in now? Maybe 2013.
13, right.
I've done four Fringes as a solo artist.
Right.
And my fifth one's coming up now. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got one for this coming Fringe, which is 2019, yeah?
Yeah. It's called Marc Ryan in Honey, I Shrunk the Bogan, referring to my weight loss journey.
There you go.
And different stuff like that. So,
and given that it's like when I interview comedians who are doing either the Melbourne Comedy Festival or Adelaide Fringe, they kind of come up with the title of the show well before the content. Where are you with content? Yeah, same.
Look, I've just got to try and work out the bits and pieces that I'm going to put in there because as someone that's lost that much weight, but doing it through not eating my favourite foods or giving up sugar or running, which I've never done previously, and all that kind of stuff. There's material all in there, but it's just about putting it into a story that's funny.
Yeah.
So because a lot of my jokes are storytelling, and they're my favourite comedians. So that's it's kind of how do what I do.
Fantastic. Well, we've got the first time the School of Hard Knocks is coming to Adelaide Fringe. We've got our own show called The Best Of.
Nice.
We've got Adelaide graduates, but we've also got some graduates from Melbourne, Sydney. No, I don't think anyone from Sydney's coming over, but certainly from Melbourne. It's only a small group of 15. We're the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. We also do a best of show, and we have about 30 or more performing there. I mean, we have a lot of alumni. What advice, because I have been, again, as a punter, as an audience member, I have been to Adelaide Fringe. It's a huge event. Occupies the whole city, even more so than Melbourne International Comedy Festival, I feel. What advice would you give to those comedians, these newbies that are coming from the School of Hard Knocks, for example? They're all going to do roughly 10 minutes each of their best material. What advice would you have for them, specifically in reference to the Adelaide Fringe Festival?
Maybe don't try and bag out Adelaide heaps. It's easy to come from interstate and bag Adelaide out and stuff. But, Adelaide people kind of take it to heart as well sometimes. I've seen a lot of interstate comics come over and have a crack at Adelaide, which is, you come into a small, I guess, country town in comparison to Sydney and Melbourne and stuff.
Yep.
But Adelaide people actually quite love where they're from. You know what I mean? Like, so when you bag them out, they kind of take it to heart sometimes. Like, I don't.
Sure.
I'm a comic. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care. I'm not that fussed about it. But some of the locals actually can get a little bit upset about people. So that's one thing. Like, just try not to bag us out too much. Keep the crowd on your side.
Yep. Agreed. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's probably it's hard. Like, it's hard work. Like, Adelaide Fringe is hard work trying to pull a crowd. Like, with the Melbourne International Comedy Festival, you got to work hard. You got to work hard to get your crowd in. It's again, also enjoy it, because it is an amazing festival to be a part of.
It's amazing space. Adelaide, I mean, being from Melbourne, of course, I just fell into the trap of teasing Adelaide, but I've been over there just this year. I've been to Adelaide 4 times. Lovely people, friendly people. Yeah. I mean, they say Melbourne's friendlier than Sydney, but Adelaide's friendlier than both. It's everyone wants to help you in Adelaide, unless they're conniving and going to backstab you later. I don't know.
Unless they're trying to work out which one are we going to murder next, because it is the murder capital of Australia. But
true. Yes, was it Snowtown? Yeah.
Snowtown. There's been a few.
A bit of yeah. So we shouldn't do too many Snowtown references in comedy.
No.
Gotcha. Fantastic. So your show is in Adelaide, but that's we're not talking until, what are we? Was it Mad March, isn't it? March and April for March. Yeah, February, March, actually, isn't it? It's an early one this
February, March.
Next year, 2019. If people want to see you earlier, now they could see you tonight, but unfortunately this podcast isn't going to go out in time because I've got to cook dinner. So if people want to catch you in the near, say, weeks to month, singular, where can they see you?
Yeah. You know what? I reckon the best way to do is visit Marc Ryan, the Beautiful Bogan Facebook site, and I'll put all my dates up there because I can't actually think past tonight. I know I've got a gig tomorrow. Oh, and I'm hosting a show at Rhino Room with Tom Gleeson on Friday night, but that's sold out, so that's no good 21.
Yeah.
And then I'm on the Gold Coast Saturday night. I'm up there, but apart from that, I can't really think of it. What else I'm booked in for?
You've got a few things on, understandable. So tell us how do we get to that Facebook page again?
So Marc Ryan, so it's Marc, because that's a trap, because it's actually Marc C.
Not the K.
Yeah.
Yep.
Marc Ryan, the Beautiful Bogan, and that's the Facebook site.
Fantastic. And if they want to book you for events, private parties, sports clubs, that kind of stuff, they go through there as well?
Yeah. No, just message me through there. Just a direct message through there, or any of my social media things.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Marc Ryan, not Marcus Ryan. Both Marc and Marcus are very funny, I should add. Thank you very much for sharing a little bit of your journey. I'm looking forward. I'm actually coming to Adelaide for the 5th time in December. Yeah, 9 till 13. I'm driving over. It's a road trip. Got a new van that a camper van that I'm going to be testing out. On my way to Adelaide, so that's cool. Again, for anyone who's listening to this podcast is interested in actually developing their stand-up comedy skills, Glenn Nicholas, Marc Ryan, as we've been talking to, and one of our alumni, Steve Davis, are all going to be there, helping, advising, giving feedback about open mic, in specifically with, say, Steve Davis, who's new on the scene, but has some great insights into the open mic area. Of course, yourself, Mark, on how to do well at Raw. If you're particularly, if the audience listening wants to do Raw comedy next year, this would be a very good stand-up comedy course to do with someone who's actually won it in South Australia.
Yes, very much so.
Well, Mark, fantastic. Thank you very much for your time. It is now 6 o'clock your time, so hope that I don't know if you're responsible for cooking for the kids.
Oh, that's already done, brother. I'm just at basketball training with Junior at the moment. So
there you go.
There we go.
Perfect. Well, Mark, fantastic. Thanks for your time today. I look forward to meeting you in person in December.
Thank you very much for having me.